What's up, Ravens flock and NFL fans everywhere? My name is Christopher Linfont, coming at you from BaltimoreFeather.com, and today we're going to be bringing you another prospect review. One of my favorite prospects in this year's NFL draft. We're going to be looking at Greedy Williams, the very greedy defensive back, cornerback out of LSU. Very good getting the ball. He's a very good player, and we're going to take a look at him today and see whether or not he should end up on the Ravens or maybe your favorite NFL team if you're not a Ravens fan. Of course, this video can still pertain to you as we check out Greedy Williams and what he brings to the table. Now, I want to start off by saying that Greedy Williams, I think he's a fantastic player, but you're going to see a drop in some statistics and targets in his sophomore year, which was this past season, and that's mainly because of how dominant he was in his freshman year. A lot of teams just didn't want to even try to get Greedy Williams. Didn't even want to try to test Greedy. Greedy Williams, of course, the LSU product. He's coming in. He's going to be a very good player. From that LSU defense, they've got a lot of good guys there, and a great tradition there. His measurables stack up. I think he's 6'2", 185 pounds. He's got the 31.5-inch arm length, and a little bit small hands for a corner, 9 1/4 inch hand size. Not too bad though. He makes up for it in his plays, which he does very, very well at. Greedy Williams, he only did the 40-yard dash at the combine with a 4.37 40-yard dash, and that is because he felt a little cramped up after that 40-yard dash. But that 4.37 speed is outstanding for a cornerback. He should be able to keep up with most wide receivers in the NFL, not let them get past him, and really do very well in that dimension. Now, looking at his stats, we go up and look at his stats from the past few years. We see LSU here. At LSU, he played 2 years on this LSU defense. I believe he was a redshirt freshman and then a redshirt sophomore. So, 3 years in college. And you can see with his freshman year here, he does pretty darn well. 13 games played, 26 solo tackles, 38 total. He's not really the biggest tackler in the world, and we're going to get into that in the tape. But he does have those 6 interceptions, 10 pass deflections. That's huge for Greedy Williams. 6 interceptions in however many games. I think that's pretty remarkable for him. And then he comes in 2018, does pretty much the same, 33 total tackles. Only played in 11 games, though. 2 interceptions, and 9 pass deflections. I think that personally, a lot of teams just didn't want to test him as much anymore because of what he did in his freshman year. So, don't let those stats confuse you here. And, of course, we are going to move on into the tape right now. Now, again, he's not often tested in his sophomore year, but we are going to see him get some attempts here against DK Metcalf in this game. He goes up against the top receiver basically on every team, and here he is against DK Metcalf. Now, he starts off this game pretty well. He's got a good pass breakup. Not that far into the game, only a few minutes in. You can see him at the bottom of your screen here. Greedy Williams paired up against Metcalf. Tamu, I'm not really sure how to pronounce his name. Look at that play right there. You can see him. He's in line with DK Metcalf, who is a big-bodied wide receiver. He's huge. He's stacked. He's fast. He's pretty much, the Goliath to David here. But Greedy Williams, the size, the strength, none of it matters for Greedy. He's going to push that ball out of DK Metcalf's hand. That's a very fantastic play to start off this game for Greedy Williams. Now, for the next play I want to showcase, we're going to move up in time here to about midway through the game. And here is a fantastic pass breakup against DK Metcalf. It's in the end zone too, so this is a huge play. He's at the top of your screen now. Follow that purple arrow. Ready? The ball's in the air, and DK Metcalf should have that. And Greedy says, "Nuh-uh, that's mine. You're not getting that." Now, he doesn't pick the ball off, but he makes that crucial pass deflection to not let DK Metcalf score a touchdown there. Very good play by Greedy Williams. We're going to head back. I know I'm skipping around here a lot. It might be confusing, but I think it's interesting to see the plays go this way. He's at the bottom of your screen here, and this play he's going to provide good, tight coverage against DK Metcalf the whole way. It shows you his speed, his ability to keep up with a big-time wide receiver like DK Metcalf. That was that play there. We don't get another view of it. Some of these plays we do. Here on this play, we are going to see some more tight coverage against DK Metcalf. Look at that tight coverage down there. It's basically the same route DK Metcalf's going to do. If you watched our DK Metcalf review, you know that he's a very limited route tree, and a go route is one of them. And on this play right here, you can see him basically doing maybe a little stutter step on that go route, but it's essentially a go route, and that's what Greedy Williams is going to have to defend against for that 4.2, 3 speed or whatever DK Metcalf had. That's a pretty good way to go for Greedy Williams. And in this play right here, we are going to see Greedy Williams again against DK Metcalf, and I think his best example of tight coverage. You can see he stays with the very fast DK Metcalf the entire route, and you're going to see he keeps his eyes on Ta'amau and really is ready for when this ball is coming his way, if it comes his way, but it ends up not because he's sacked. And you can see on this angle, this is the angle I was talking about earlier, look how he keeps up with DK Metcalf. He knows what DK Metcalf wants to do, and he's going to stay with him. He uses that agility, that speed, everything he needs to do to stay with DK Metcalf for the entire route, which is a very underrated quality of a corner, staying with your guy. Now, we're going to move up ahead into the game again, and we're going to check out another play down here. I believe this is the third quarter now, but here's a quick but effective tackle. Now, I said he's a little inconsistent on these tackles, and he is. But this one, I feel, this is a showcase of what he can do as a tackler. It's not the most impressive tackle in the world, but he gets the job done. Takes down DK Metcalf when he needs to. You can see another solid tackle right here. I think, it's not the prettiest tackle in the world, but he gets the job done. So, people will say he's not a tackler. I think he can tackle. I just don't think he's going to tackle be the most reliable tackle. He's more of a coverage cornerback. But he does, again, make some good tackles here and there. Here he is in the bottom of your screen. You can see him going against DK Metcalf there, and he makes a solid tackle against DK Metcalf to really hone in and stop Metcalf from doing any more damage than he's already done. So now we're going to go right back to the beginning. I'm sorry if I'm confusing you here, but I want to show these plays in this sequence for a reason. Now, here's an underrated quality of Greedy Williams, I think. His ability to track the ball. He keeps his eyes on the quarterback, where the ball is going. Right there, he knows. He's not someone who's going to lock on his guy. A lot of college guys will lock on, DK Metcalf here, but he keeps his eyes on the quarterback. See, it's pass to A.J. Brown, I believe that is, and he makes a tackle. Not the most effective tackle in the world, but he tracks the ball down. If we go towards the beginning, only the first few minutes here, we can see Greedy Williams again on DK Metcalf and backed up here, but he's going to track the ball, and he's going to make sure that he gets this running back down. Not the prettiest tackle in the world, but he trips him up, and down goes the running back. He gets the job done, even if it's a dirty job. He's going to get it done. Final track I want to show you. I know I'm showing you a lot of tracking of the running backs and every other receiver on the field here, except the guy he's supposed to be covering because he does it so well. Here we go. Greedy Williams is back here again. He's smart enough to get off the assignment once it's clear the offense is moving in another direction. You're going to see that in this play right here. His wrap technique, though, is questionable on this play, but, immediately, right? He's not locking on to DK Metcalf. You immediately see, look at his head is turning. Now, this may have been designed for him, but he's ready for it. And even if he was supposed to go Tamo, he sees that and he's ready to get either. So he makes that move. He makes that good read there. And he played very well against DK Metcalf this entire game. I think he did very well. Not bad at all for, a corner going against, what might be a top 10, top 15 pick in this draft. Greedy Williams is probably going to be a first-round pick himself. So we'll move on to the next piece of tape here. So this piece of tape, we're going to look at Georgia. And here he is paired up against another top receiver in the draft, none other than Riley Ridley, brother of Calvin Ridley, now of the Atlanta Falcons. On this play, you can see his coverage ability. He's got elite speed, allows him to keep up with good receivers, and he's going to play well against Riley Ridley all game. Look at how he keeps up with Riley Ridley here. Let's look at this again. I don't believe... Sorry, I looked up at this yellow here. That's not where he is. He's on the bottom. distracting me. I believe he's got, yeah, right on Riley Ridley down there. He's going to keep up with Riley Ridley, number 8. He's not going to let him do much. And then, Jake Fromm's going to have to throw that ball to where, it's not going to end up being caught. Now, you can see on this next play, I want to talk about, it's more tight coverage, and he, stops a big catch, what would be a big catch by Riley Ridley. You can see him up here on the top of your screen. He goes up against Riley Ridley, and Jake Fromm launches this thing to him, and that tight coverage, he says, no, you're not going to get this ball, Riley Ridley. No one's getting this ball, because that tight coverage, not going to allow it. Very good play by Greedy Williams there. Now, we are going to show you his tackling ability. Again, now, his tackling ability, we do see a lot of it is inconsistent and not the best technique, but I think this tackle is sufficient. You see him right here. He's backed up on corner. Jake Fromm is going to throw it to Riley Ridley on this curl, and we're going to talk about the curl in a second. I don't know if that actually was Riley Ridley. I'm sorry. That was a different receiver, I think. It looks like a 9 instead of an 8. So, yeah, but he does make a good tackle there, even though he loses the receiver. Now, it's that curl route that's going to give him problems. He is such a coverage cornerback that he's going to try to predict where the receiver is going. If that receiver starts on what appears to be a go route, it's that curl route that's going to stop him. You can see him here. He's following the go, and then I believe that's Riley Ridley. I can't tell you. You see him. He loses that immediately, and he has to try to come back. That would have been a huge play if Jake Fromm threw that ball. Now we skip ahead towards the end of the game here. We're going to take a look at this play. That's going to show you another quick stop. That's going to kind of kill Greedy here on this play right here. You can see him right down at the bottom of your screen, paired up against Riley Ridley. And Riley's going to make a play, and you see him, quick stop right there. It's not in the beginning. It's on this go route. He makes it sell the go route, and then boom, right there. He comes back and gets it. Greedy is worrying about being beat deep, not being beat short, and that's where he's going to get caught and allow a big play. You can't really blame him, though, for not wanting to give up that big play deep behind him. That would be every cornerback's worst nightmare, to allow a Hail Mary deep or just a go route to get past, and that's not something you want to do on a regular basis. So Greedy Williams, not suspecting that quick stop movement by Riley Ridley there. Now we're going to go towards the middle of the game. I know, I keep jumping around. And we're going to take a look at a big-time pass breakup. So this game tape isn't exactly the best for Greedy, because I'm pointing out some of his flaws here. But he makes a big-time pass breakup, and this is where he really shines in plays like these. He knows it's a go route. He knows it's to the end zone, and he says, no, Riley Ridley. You're not scoring on me today. I'm Greedy. I want to keep the score to myself. I'm going to throw that ball back on the ground, and that's a fantastic play by Greedy Williams, in all honesty. That would have been a touchdown. If he doesn't have that leaping ability, that speed to keep up, and that arm length to push that ball on the ground, that's a touchdown for Riley Ridley. And Georgia's, gonna, start running away with this game potentially. But they are down 16-0. You can't discount Greedy Williams' effect on that. Now the final play I want to show you from this particular game, we're going to take a look at a mistake by Greedy Williams here. Not this play exactly, but the next, right here. Okay, it's not here. It's right there. You can see him. He's pulling right there, the face mask, everything. It's a DPI, and there was a DPI similar in the game against Ole Miss, but it wasn't really that noticeable or not really that convincing. When you see on here, that's obvious DPI for Greedy Williams. No question about, Riley Ridley being held, and he's got to do better than that. So hopefully he won't be doing that at the next level, but you do never know. It is good to note these things. But Greedy in the coverage so far has been good. We're going to take a look at one last game until we move on to the end of our evaluation here, and that game will be Auburn. So here we go against Auburn, LSU and Auburn, another SEC rivalry that's pretty fun to watch. This is really early in the season. They're both 2-0, and he's going against a quarterback in Jarrett Stidham, and he is a NFL prospect this year as well. Now, you can see that Greedy Williams, on the first play I want to show you, we're not going to go through too much of Auburn because I think we got most of what Greedy Williams is in the first 2 games we looked at. But it is worth noting some of these plays here. Now, this first play I want to take a look at, we see a good view from this angle. Tackling is inconsistent. I mentioned that earlier. This is a complete width by Greedy Williams, and you could see it right there. I'm sorry I didn't point him out early. I think he comes in from the side here. There he is, number 29, and he's got this running back right here. And watch how he tries to tackle him. What the heck was that? You got to stay up. What are you going down for, Greedy? You know, you want to be completely greedy. I know you want those interceptions, but we got to get those fumbles too, Greedy. We can't be doing that. You know, this is not the best tackling in the world. He's got to clean this up. And, you know, can you teach an old dog new tricks? That's the ultimate question in the NFL. Some guys you can, some guys you just can't. I like to think, Greedy, you could totally, make him a better prospect with some of the changes that he's going to have to be made here, especially with this tackling, because some of these things, not too good. But again, in coverage, he's one of the best corners in this draft, if not the best corner in the draft. But here's another whiff, right? Let's see where we can pick him out. Not this play. Pick him out pre-play so everybody can see him. Here he is right here, pre-play, and we see him on this whiff against the running back, same running back, I believe. And look, another guy gets him. But if he's one-on-one with this running back, I mean, that's, that could be a touchdown. That could be anything. Greedy's got to be able to wrap guys up. He's got to recognize the best way to make a tackle is not by going down and basically playing possum on these guys and hoping they're going to trip on you. Nothing against Greedy Williams, but he's got to get this tackling better. And there are plays where he makes some really nice tackles. And I think that actually the play after this is actually a pretty good play for a tackle. Here he is right here on the bottom of your screen here, kind of towards the left side, and Jared Stidham, whatever his name is, he's going to throw it. Greedy comes in, and he makes, not the best technique, but he gets this guy down, right? At the end of the day, his job is to get him down. He gets him down before a touchdown. So, he goes for the legs. But again, I would like to see him wrap him up. But I think it is, a better tackle than the previous 2 attempts, just because he gets the guy down and prevents him from going into the end zone, forces him to try to hurdle, and that's going to, I think, push him out of bounds too. We can see, he's out of bounds anyway. So that's a better tackle. Not great technique, though, but it is better, I think. And right here, Greedy, we're going to highlight you, of course. You're a very good coverage cornerback. We're going to highlight what you're really good at, and this is what you're really good at. He's out of your screen on this play, so don't even worry about it. But he's coming in. He's coming in hot. Don't worry. Great pass coverage here by Greedy Williams. He's going to be thrown to the bottom of your screen here. And look at that pass coverage and that pass breakup. Stidham, he throws it, but it's not going to get caught because Greedy's on the ball. You don't throw it to Greedy. He's going to get that. So, fantastic play by Greedy Williams right there. He's greedy. He doesn't want you to get the ball. It's all his, not yours. And finally, we are going to show you one last play from this tape right here, and that's this interception I want to highlight. Here he is down at the bottom of your screen. Stidham looking to test Greedy Williams again, and Greedy says, "Nuh-uh, not today. That's my ball. I'm greedy. I'm going to take this as far as I can." Fantastic play by Greedy Williams. Really knows how to get that interception, get off the line, stays with the receiver. Look at the tight coverage, and always watching the quarterback. Always an eye on the quarterback. That's what separates elite coverage corners from others. You got to keep your eye on the ball and the quarterback, and he does, and that's how he knows to make a play. So this is really some of the stuff that can make him a very fantastic player at the pro level, is keeping the eye on the ball, keeping the eye on the quarterback, knowing when it's coming to you before sometimes the receiver even knows. That can make him a fantastic player at the next level. So, when we go over his strengths, his weaknesses, his everything you need to know, he's a great coverage cornerback. I think we already established that. He rarely loses his receiver. He's going to stay on target all day long. He has great hands. Over 2 years, 8 interceptions. Again, the interception count went down in his sophomore year only because I think he was tested less, it seems like to me. And you're not going to want to throw, maybe to a freshman you don't really care if you're throwing things that, might get picked off because you assume he's going to drop it. Well, he proved he's not going to drop it. And now, you're not going to throw as much to him. You don't want to test that number one corner on the outside if you don't have to. He's able to break up contested passes. Basically, if the catch is contested, he's probably breaking it up. Greedy Williams is not going to allow you to get the ball without a fight, and he almost always wins the fight. And he's had solid production in both those years at LSU. Not a problem there in production. Very fantastic play I think we saw out of Greedy Williams in those 2 years. Again, we're only highlighting his sophomore year because it's the most recent for his NFL transition, but you can look at his freshman highlights, and they are fantastic as well. He can make strong tackles, but he's inconsistent. Some of the tackles he makes are perfect for him. We saw some of them look really good. That one tackle on the running back, I think it was the not LSU game, not Auburn. It was one of the first two games. He pushes him right into the ground. He takes him and he just drops him. Right, he wraps him up, and that's where we got to get more of Greedy Williams to wrap people up. Those tackles, he can make those strong tackles, but he is inconsistent, and he's got good size and great speed. He is a little light for a corner, but that allows him to have agility that other cornerbacks and speed that other cornerbacks might not be able to get. And I think he is, a pretty good prospect, measurable wise, for a starting cornerback. Maybe not your number one corner right now, but he can be a very good corner in the future and potential number one in the next few years. Weaknesses, though, again, can make strong tackles, but he's inconsistent, and the inconsistency is the key. In the NFL, you have to be consistent. Otherwise, you're going to fall victim to the not for long of the NFL. Some have concerns that he's going to be pushed around to the next level. Only 185 pounds. It's possible. There's a lot of big body receivers at the next level. But I think, Greedy showed that he can go up against guys like DK Metcalf, who are ginormous. It's like a David and Goliath situation, but he still won that matchup. So I'm not super concerned, but I am concerned maybe against a Mike Evans and Antonio Brown, somebody who's DeAndre Hopkins might give him a hard time. Big-bodied receivers, that are going to be able to push him around a little bit more than he's used to, especially in his first years, could be a problem for him. And those quick stops, those curl routes, those are problems for Greedy Williams. But I believe that's only because he's trying to not allow the play downfield. And when you're trying to stay behind the wide receiver, that wide receiver can get in front of you and make a move and really, bust your chops there. But I do really like what Greedy Williams brings to the table. And I am going to give him a grade of 7.9. So he is a later round pick, in my opinion, of the first round. He's still a first rounder. Late round pick just because of that inconsistent tackling, I think, is his biggest problem. If he was a good tackler, an average tackler, he'd be higher up on this list. But a 7.9 grade is not bad if you know my grading ratio, my scale. That's about, a lower first round pick. I do think Greedy Williams will be a valuable later round pick for whoever gets him. Now, can the Ravens get him? Absolutely. He should be there at 22. I don't have any question he's going to be there at 22 unless he gets picked a few picks before. But I really think he should be available at 22 for the Ravens to get him. And is he a boom or a bust? Well, I think he's going to be a good, solid coverage cornerback in the NFL. And I'll say a boom. I don't think he's going to be a bust. I think he'll be a boom as long as he can get that tackling. It's contingent on that tackling. If he can become a better tackler, he'll be a fantastic player in the NFL without a question. He'll be a number one corner, one of the best corners in the league. I think he could be. He's got that potential. Should the Ravens get him? No. The Ravens shouldn't get him. And it has nothing to do with Greedy Williams as a prospect and all to do with the money the Ravens are spending and the current situation the Ravens have at the secondary unit. They've got Marlon Humphrey. They've got Brandon Carr. They've got Jimmy Smith, Anthony Averett, and Maurice Kennedy at cornerback. Marlon Humphrey, Brandon Carr, and Jimmy Smith could all be number ones on teams. All number one cornerbacks. And there's three of them. Look, Brandon Carr and Jimmy Smith they're going to be leaving the Ravens within the next few years, there's no doubt about it. But adding Greedy Williams now, I don't think is worth doing, only because there's more pressing needs. You have to go out and get a receiver, whether it's in free agency, whether it's in the draft. You have to get somebody who's going to be able to bring a dimension of a big body pass catcher the Ravens don't have right now. You have to go get your interior offensive line help. You have to get an edge rusher if you're going into the draft with Judon and Tyus Bowser and Tim Williams as your best pass rushers. Judon's fantastic, but Tim Williams and Tyus Bowser, they're unproven. You have to go get a big pass edge rusher. Those are three bigger importance players than Greedy Williams. If the Ravens cut Jimmy Smith and get that cap casualty, the sweet cap bonus, then maybe Greedy Williams is back in the conversation. But right now, as long as Jimmy Smith is on this team, Greedy Williams cannot be a priority for the Ravens. Although he's a fantastic player and would really be able to thrive in the Ravens, not being pushed into a situation where he's got to be ready to go as the number one corner right away. He's got a lot of guys around him who can help him out, and he could have time to develop fully. I think it would be a good situation for him, but for the Ravens, it'd be too risky, I think, to pick Greedy Williams, unless they figure out a way to get the other guys out, to get other needs filled, and find a way to get Greedy Williams as well, but that's a very difficult case for the Ravens to crack there. Now, again, the Ravens I don't think should get him, but he is a fantastic coverage cornerback that's going to perform well at the next level once he learns how to tackle better. And if he doesn't learn, it's going to be a problem, but I think he will, and there's a lot of upside in what Greedy Williams can bring to the table for whatever team goes out and grabs him late in the first round out of LSU, one of the best corners in this draft. But again, I don't think the Ravens should draft him. Now, if you want more Ravens-based draft prospect reviews, if you want more Ravens content, you can follow this channel by hitting the subscribe button and making sure to like and comment and let us know your opinions on this episode here. And what do you think of Greedy Williams? Do the Ravens need to go out and get Greedy Williams? Is he that good of a prospect for you to say, you know what, let's just leave these other needs alone and go get him? He might be. I want to know if you think so. Make sure to go to BaltimoreFeather.com for our write-ups as well. That we always have a write-up for every prospect review we do. And, we'll have more prospect reviews coming in the future. But right now, I'm Chris Linfont signing out for BaltimoreFeather.com. Have a fantastic day, everybody.